Hi, it's Anna Haferman, and today I want to show you the Needle Beetle II, which is made by Chris Crafter, which is a needle selecting tool made for the Brother plastic bed machines, which include the KX350, which is what I'm working on, the KX355, and then the convertible Brother machines, which are the 360, 390, 395, and 400. These are available from chriscrafter.com, and that's spelled with a KRISKRAFTER.com. And the way it works is it selects needles based on groups of 8. So yeah, I will select in my first group of 8 needles, which I have found that it was easier to just mark out on my bed and number 6, 7, 8. Those first 8 needles, I will select whatever group of 8 I want, and then I'll run the Needle Beetle across and it'll select across the bed. So using this tuck stitch pattern that I copied from a book that's available online for download, that's all 8 stitch patterns, I select needle number 1 and 5. So I select them to upper working position 1 and 5, and then I take my Needle Beetle and run it across, and it selects repeats the pattern across the bed. So then all I do now is knit 4 rows and hold. Then I switch my carriage to N and do a row of stockinette. Go back to hold, and then my pattern tells me to select needles 3 and 7. 3 and 7. And so I do 3 and 7. And now my carriage is on the left, but I still Needle Beetle from right to left. That's the only way that it will work. So do that. And then I knit 5 rows. And making sure I'm in hold. Then I go back to normal and I do 2 rows of stockinette. 1, 2. And now I go back to 1 and 5 again. And knit 4 rows. And one row of stockinette. And then I select 3 and 7 again. So I'm just repeating the vertical repeat. The Needle Beetle selects it for me. Making sure I'm in hold. Now I do 5 rows. And then 2 rows of stockinette. And I only have to switch my carriage on that one side because it knit the needles back. And so as you can see, I'm getting a nice little tuck stitch. And I'm going to do one more repeat. And you'll see. So 1 and 5, beetle across. 4 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 row normal. 3 and 7. Select those needles. And now 5 rows and hold. 5. Back to normal and 2 rows and hold. And this makes a nice bubbly tuck stitch. The Needle Beetle also works great for doing Fair Isle. Here's a pattern I did using it. And basically what I did is I copied a pattern out of this book, which is all 8 stitch patterns. This is available for a free download on Machine Knitting, etc. But just quickly, I will go into this in my next video, but for right now I want to show you how it's done just briefly so you can see how it works. So I'm going to follow my chart and select, here's the chart I drew out. This is pattern number 143 in that book. So I drew out a little chart, and I'm using a quicker method than is outlined in the manual. And again, I'm going to go into this in detail in my next video. So, but just to show you how I select for Fair Isle, I'm selecting the contrast colors on this row, which is the purple, so 1 and 5. So I pull the 1 and 5 to position D, which is upper work. That. Knit across with my main yarn, and I have my carriage set on H on this side and part on that side. So then when I go back, because of the way my carriage is set, I should be on P and N, I go back and it does that. So then I go to row 2 of my pattern, and I'm selecting one. This time I'm selecting the main color needles, which are 2, 3, and 4, 6, 7, and 8. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Then I'm going to use my Needle Beetle, make sure I put it in the right spot. Beetle across. And I will go into this in greater detail. But then when I'm on the left, all I need to do is switch color and back. The next row, I select the contrast, the purple again. So I've got 2, 4, 5, 6, and 8. 2, 4, 5, 6, and 8. And then the Needle Beetle is going to select those for me, which is a lot easier than counting it out and selecting it by hand. So when I go there, when I'm on the left, I change color and knit back. So that's the method I used, and I will go into it in greater detail, but this is the swatch that it produces, and it's so much faster selecting it by hand, selecting it with the Needle Beetle than by hand. The Needle Beetle is great at it's really nice for tuck, really nice for Fair Isle. It's also good for slip stitch or even lace, where if you wanted to select certain needles, it would select them. You would still have to hand transfer them. But it's a great little tool. It's available at chriscrafter.com, and it's available for either the Brother plastic machines or the LK150, or I believe also the LK100. So just make sure you order the correct one for your machine. And if you have any questions about that, you can ask Chris at Chris Crafter. Thanks very much.